Hello, hello, hello. How is everybody tonight? Max Voltage here, as you guys all know, with episode 11 of Mondays with Max. I particularly liked TechMan, his Vietnam EVGA cards for the win. We'll talk a little bit about that for the heck of it tonight. But anyway, I do have some surprises. I don't know if anybody has figured out one of them already, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. Somebody give me a 1 in the, well, there's 56 giving it away. So I guess I will start with that. And thank you, 56, for the ramen. I appreciate that very much. Yes, my channel became monetized. I think that was record time because I had an AdSense account that I had from years ago, had $9.44 in it. And so I had to get a Google AdSense, like they had to verify my address basically. So I got that on Saturday. And so I finished that part of the stage and then put it into monetization. Like they had to review it. I've heard, oh, it'll take a month. It happened when I got home from work today. I was just like, holy cow. I've never heard of it happening in like 2 days. So I have no idea how that happened, but hey, it happened. So definitely happy about that. I will be giving away a 580 4GB card, either on one of my streams or on Panda's 200K celebration, one of the two. I haven't talked to Panda about it, but one or the other, I'll be giving away that as a celebration for all the help everybody gave and with making this happen. And it's a great way to start out 2022. So definitely appreciation to all of you that helped make this happen. Couldn't happen without all of you. So definitely very much appreciated. Yeah. Sunflower Mama won't be exactly rolling in the dough or anything, but hey, it's the next step. it's the next step. So we'll keep things going and keep more content rolling this way. So anyway, so what we got on the table tonight is a couple different things. I'll give a Helium miner update. Heck, what did I say I was going to talk about now? Obviously the Nvidia cards. What else did I say I was going to talk about? Obviously the bearable, we'll talk a little bit about that. And I pretty much gave the channel update, but I'll talk a little bit more about it a little bit later as some of the things I'm thinking about, making it more of a professional looking channel. I started doing some of the things last year, but anyway, I'll talk a little bit about that later. But let's talk about the fun stuff, which is how do we know that there is going to be a drop tomorrow? We don't know for sure whether there's going to be a drop tomorrow, but there's been a lot of stories. Could they be all wrong? Sure, they could be. But what was really interesting about this article from Video Cards, because I basically came home, I'm like, okay, let's see if there's been any other updates. The thing that I really took away from this was towards the end, where NVIDIA is to announce a 3080 12 gig tomorrow. According to the latest information, the company made a surprising decision to lift the pre-order and review embargo at the same time. This is the key. Reviewers are struggling to obtain drivers, which are sadly not available. Definitely not the way NVIDIA should launch a graphics card. But here was the thing that I tied in with that. I was listening to, on the way to work this morning, Hardware Unboxed, because when I drive to work, it's very, very early. And they're the only ones that have really dropped a video at that point. So Red Panda, start dropping your videos at like 6 a.m. so I can listen to them on the way to work. Anyway, but so they're the only ones. So I pretty much usually listen to Hardware Unboxed on the way to work. So they were doing a video completely unrelated. It was 12400 versus 5600X, and comparing, what they were like in gaming. And it was interesting. I can't even remember exactly what the result was, but basically they were very, very similar. And the 12400 was a much better value. The 12400F is like $190, and was very equivalent, very on par with the 5600X. So you're, paying about a third less in order to get that. So anyway, he was going through that, but partway through, he's like, and I was going to do this testing, but there was a surprise GPU that needed some addressing. And then I got thrown a curveball. And so I wasn't able to even do that, but more on that tomorrow. I was like, okay, what curveball was he thrown? And then I saw this article saying reviewers are struggling to obtain drivers. I was like, that's it. They couldn't obtain drivers, so they couldn't test it at all. So anyway, things kind of came together, and I'm like, yeah, this really leads me to believe that it's probably a 3080 12 gig. There is some rumors out there that it could be a 3070 Ti 16 gig. But I think the 3080 12 gig is probably more likely. And I've seen more stories on that. And the rumored price is about $1,000. So anyway, very, 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 very curious to see. And the rumor was that it would be released at 6 a.m. Pacific time, obviously 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time, or as Crypto Mikkel says, cool standard time is 8 a.m. So anyway, so what do you guys all think about that? Anybody going to be buying them? Let's see. Pearl Rival. Hi, Mom. All right. My mouse was stuck. Let me see if there were, if you do have any comments you want me to see, please tag me in the chat. That is not how to win hearts and minds, Pearl Rival, with my wife. Anyway, yeah, I see everybody's talking to my wife. Is anybody paying attention to me? Or are they all paying attention to my wife? Anyway, perfectly fine. Anyway, I didn't mean you had to retract it, Pearl Rifle. Anyway, yes, smash that like, please. So anyway, what do you guys think about that? You think it's coming out? You guys gonna get it? I'll check back on the in the chat on that a little bit later and let me know what you're thinking. I am planning on getting one if I can. I think probably try to get the FE, although the one thing we don't know is whether or not this card's going to be LHR or not. It's coming out after LHR came out, while the original 3080 came out before LHR. So that will be something to see tomorrow as to whether or not that card is LHR or not. So yeah, kind of curious to see when the embargo lifts. Does it lift at midnight? Or, well, the ABMNS production, it's definitely LHR for the AIB cards. It's whether or not it's LHR for the FE cards, or are there even going to be any FE cards? Don't know. So I am guessing Micro Center, Best Buy, Newegg will probably have them all over the shuffle tomorrow, would be my guess. I'm sure that Micro Center has a shipment already that they're just going to put out. So yeah, I'm not guessing that 3090 Ti will be LHR. I don't think that'll be the case, but could be wrong. We shall see. Let's see. Okay. All right. Well, on to the other thing that Techman just mentioned was there was an article today that do you guys remember that story about the EVGA cards that were stolen from a truck going from San Francisco to the LA area to Southern California? Well, a number of those cards were discovered in Vietnam. Basically, somebody was trying to check on warrantability and they had bought it from this Vietnamese large retailer, evidently. And they discovered that, yes, in fact, they were some of these stolen card serial numbers. So right now it appears, don't be going to buy these cards from Vietnam. They are supposedly selling for less than retail, or certainly less than the market value, I should say. And that's definitely a red flag. But anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting that we knew that they were going to show up eventually. It's just a matter of how long it was going to take for them to show up. I don't think there's going to be anybody who may have bought one mistakenly or not, that it's going to be like, oh, well, I'll just return it. They're not going to return it because they paid for it and they're going to want to take advantage of it. So anyway, K-Spec, what'd you miss? I monetized. That's the first thing you missed. And then 3080 Ti probably coming out tomorrow. That's the short story of that. So in fact, let me check one thing here. Moving to my Helium update, because man, okay, so last update was I had reasserted the location for my Helium miner to a better hex, and my transmit scale went up by like 0.2. So that was the good news. Bad news was I've had a few issues of some breaks in performance, and the last one's been about 2 days and it somehow fell out of sync, and now it was back in sync, but I wasn't getting any activity. So I want to see if that has changed at all. Doesn't appear so. Let's see. Come on. No activity yet, which is unfortunate. But so I don't know exactly what's going on there, but it says 100% synced, as well as both outbound and inbound are checked. It's not relayed, all that. So yeah, it's hey, as far as ads go and things like that, you guys just do YouTube the way you normally do it. don't worry about that. The number of people watching, it'll be fine. TPS Miner, wow, thank you very much. I appreciate it. The 3080 12 gigabyte fund. I appreciate that very much. I think I'll need a little bit more than that, but I'm good. I'm good. In fact, I was actually, I kind of have an idea of how much my mining revenue is each month, but then you put it in your taxes at the end of the year. And so I started going through Koinly and categorizing all of the deposits into mining revenue. And I was like, wow, that's probably going to hurt come tax time. Probably going to hurt. But it was good to see. I mean, it's been a good year. We all know that. And now, thankfully, I have done quite a bit of purchasing of GPUs this year, so I'll be able to ride that off against that revenue. So it shouldn't be too bad. Plus, I was out of work for a portion of the year, so it definitely helped make up for that, no question. So let's see. Casespec says, for the record, I have played your older live streams on other tabs at low volume to help get your minutes up. Thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I knew that those didn't come from nowhere. There was definitely some increase in watch hours. And so I definitely really appreciate that. Everybody who contributed to that. Like I said, my goal for December was 3,000, and I figured I'd get to 4,000 by the end of January. And then I made a few comments of, I'm trying to up my watch hours, and holy cow, did the cavalry come in and start massively watching. So, wow, 48 viewers. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. So anyway, thank you. Thank you very much. Seabed, it is not a Bobcat. If it was a Bobcat, I forget what it's called, but it's like Quick Sync or something like that, where they have like a snapshot you can download that'll help get you to sync a lot faster. Rack does not have that. At least the V2 that I have does not have that. So yeah, if it loses sync, it can take days because it syncs really slow. So yeah, it took like 2 days. When I went to work this morning, it was not synced. When I got home, I checked and it was at 100%. And then I noticed that there still wasn't any activity. So I'm like, all right, well, let me just restart it. So I restarted it. So it's resynced. It's, everything looks good on it. Now just have to wait for the activity to restart. I know sometimes it can take a little bit for the activity to start once it's been resynced. Like when you look at the Explorer and it says sync status syncing, last updated 21 hours ago, that's what the Explorer sees. And I think the network has to see that status has changed, and it doesn't like immediately know that you're done syncing. So once it knows I'm done syncing, I think it'll resume to normal. So, but still, I'm doing pretty good. Oh, I should also mention, somebody had asked me if I would do a, like an ROI of a Helium miner. And recently in the app, as well as in the Explorer, they have added like an average profitability or an average revenue for an average Helium hotspot. So we haven't quite gotten to a month yet, but be a little bit less than a week, and we will have a month's worth of that average. And once I have that, I will show that and do a break-even analysis on it. It's quite good. Even with the drop in Helium, it's still on average pays itself back similarly to the really good times of a GPU, 4 to 6 months, 6 months at the most. I haven't looked at it since the price drop, but that was kind of when I looked at it before, it was like 4. With the price drop, I'm thinking it's closer to maybe 5 or 6 now. So anyway, I'll go through all the numbers in a video in the future. But again, that'll be in about a week. Yeah, I'm hoping that I will return to my previous profitability, because it was quite good. I was making about 0.2 to 0.25 Helium a day. So nothing nothing to complain about. I certainly was making more earlier, but yeah, a lot of things have come online. A lot of hotspots have come online. That's going to change the profitability. So anyway, let me see if there's any questions I may have missed. Yep. Glad you're feeling better, Jacob. Definitely glad. Yeah, this thing sucks. And whereas we're going into our 3rd year, hopefully that is the end. Will be near. That's what we can hope for anyway. Oh, thank you, Yankee, very, very much. Sorry, I came a little bit late to that one. I think I already thanked TPS Miner. So again, thank you guys for the super chats. I appreciate it. It just seems so odd. Like I never thought I'd be saying that, you know? And don't forget about the poll, bear versus bull. Well, so far the bulls are winning. Not sure if that's it's wishful thinking. Well, I'm going to say bull because maybe if I say it, you know, loud enough and strong enough, it'll make it happen. Anyway, I'm kind of iffy about it. In fact, let me bring up the coin gecko, fear and greed. What the heck? Cancel. What is going on? I'm just trying to type. Why is it doing this? Wow, this is really strange. What is going on? Can anybody tell me why all of a sudden my keyboard's being crazy? That is really, really bizarre. Wow, this is really bizarre. I do not know why my keyboard will not work. Well, I wonder if my stream is going to crash. I'm hoping it won't. But yeah, my keyboard is being stupid and I don't know why. What was that? Is it wireless? No, it is not. It is not wireless. I'm trying to figure out what I would have touched. That's the problem. The mouse is acting a little strange. Yeah, I am a little confused. So I will just continue on and hope that, yeah, that it doesn't die on me. But yeah, this is very strange. I'm not really sure why it's doing that. All your keywords belong to us. Got it. Yeah, Windows. And yeah, that's the thing is there's no stuck key. And that's what I was thinking. Like it would be a control key. My Windows key is not working. I hit escape and that came up. This is really strange. This is really, really strange. Alrighty. Well, enough of that. So yeah, I looked at the fear and greed index and it was at 23. So it was still in the extreme fear category. In fact, I'll just go back to, no, I guess we're going to stay on this scene because that's not working either. So anyway, alrighty. Well, we'll keep streaming as long as I can. Anyway, so yeah, it's at 23. It'll be interesting to see if it creeps, if the market stays static and the fear and greed kind of trickles up to kind of moderate territory, but the market hasn't changed at all, then I think we may be headed for another fall. You know, closer to around the 30. And I I kind of think that that's probably what's going to happen, but only time will tell. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. This is so bizarre. Unplug the keyboard. It's like I'm in the chat. I'm in the actual chat, and maybe that's just because I don't know. This is really strange. It's like, yeah, try unplugging it and see what happens. Can't hurt. It's the braided one. It's that one, and it probably has 2 cables, so you got to unplug them both. So while she's doing that, she's complaining about my cable management. No surprise, or lack thereof. Hey, it works, doesn't it?
No.
Anyway, sorry, totally losing my train of thought tonight. Sorry, guys. Let's see here. All right, there you may have heard that. She unplugged it. Are you okay? Just want to make sure she didn't unplug my mic. That appears to still be working. Yeah, this is so bizarre. All right, keyboard's back on. Oh, okay. She unplugged it again. Let's see. No. It's not working at all. But that's all right. So we will keep moving. Yeah, because I can't even select what I want to select on the screen. It is. It definitely is. This is really strange. I was hoping that I could actually see what I wanted to talk about tonight. So we talked about the Bears and Bulls. Yeah, it won't even let me move that. All right. Let me see if I can go for memory then. Unless one of you guys wants to remind me what I had on there. Wait a minute. No sound? Oh, laugh out loud. Just kidding. Hilarious, Yankee. Okay, you got me. Just to make sure. Can you still hear me? All right. She was like, unfortunately, yes. I can still hear you. Storm last week wasn't hiding in the bathroom. Anyway, alrighty. Well, that is just so bizarre. Sorry, guys. What are you laughing at? All right, bear with me here. I want to bring up that was, oh, I know one thing I wanted to talk about. So wasn't on the schedule, but oh, that was my daughter that I heard laughing. That's what I heard. Anyway, was Flux. Anybody mining Flux out there? I just started mining Flux with 1 GPU. Nothing to, get all crazy about or anything. But my 3070 that just doesn't like mining Ethereum at all. Always has problems. Always, LHR is down to 71 and then continues over and over and over again. So the effective hash rate on it is pretty low when you're doing Ethereum. So decided to mine Flux with it. And yeah, I'll see how it goes. It's a 3070, so it's doing pretty well with it. It said it was pretty profitable. And if in fact you're getting that 39% extra in parallel assets, then yeah, I think it would be pretty cool. So I'm going to check that out and mine it for at least a month and see where we go from there. Got to find something else to mine now that you're not going to be mining ravencoin after tomorrow, or at least until half the hash rate falls off, so the profitability comes back up. So how many of you out there are mining ravencoin right now? And I seriously wonder if I'm not seeing the chat right now. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the chat's dead too. So I'm going to bring it up on my phone so I can go back and see the chat. Or at least I'm going to try. Let's see here. Okay. An ad. At least that's a short one. Alrighty. Yes, you guys can hear me just fine. Let me mute that. There we go. Now it's muted. Oh yeah, totally behind on chat. That is frozen. Last thing I see there is at Rondi with a heart. So I missed a whole bunch of things. Oh, Pearl Bob, you were talking about when my son was in the bathroom with his helmet on, correct? So yeah, holy cow, that was a long time ago. Yeah. My wife is always full of sass. Always. It's why I love her. Why I love her. Yeah, I was way behind on chat. So let me catch up on chat here. I can't hear Yankee. Alrighty, let me see. Hey, Red Llama. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Thanks again. Thanks for everybody. Crypto Pope, K-Spec, TPS Miner. Don't mine Flux. Why are you saying not to mine Flux, Panda? Tim, I am Crypto's mining Flux. Yeah, we've wish I was mining Flux a while ago, but that kind of just isn't the way I do things. I tend to mine established projects, so I don't get in on the initial crazy gains that people get, like with Reptorium, what people got, with what maybe people had seen with Ravencoin Lite, with the pump that it had, as well as the Flux one. So less people on Flux, please. Yeah, I know, but it's an interesting project. It really is. And if I'm looking at, some of the newer projects like Ergo, Flux, Ravencoin's not really new. Flux looks pretty interesting. I mean, Ergo looks pretty interesting too, but Cardano has seen better days as far as price and appreciation of the project. So kind of expected that once it came out with smart contracts. There are some interesting things happening with it with Sunday Swap. So we'll see what happens there. Let's see here. Yep, still on RVN. Mining Doge. I'm guessing you do mining Doge with unminable or with a ASIC, Yankee. Yeah, I mean, I've got a decent bag of Raven, nothing crazy. It's, it's not a huge part of what I own. I've been mining it I've been mining it really since the beginning of the year, pretty much consistently with 2584 gigs. But yeah, every once in a while I'll put my other cards on it, or I used to. Now I can't because I'm maxed out as far as power goes. Just recently got a power meter. Basically one of the Space Goats Lite power meter. Red Llama put it together for me. So again, thank you to Red Llama Crypto. Go subscribe to his channel. I basically reached out to him because I wasn't getting a response from Space Goats. I know there's been some things and some changes made over there, and that's where everybody knew to go get them. So there was a big backlog. So nothing against what they're doing over there. I just wasn't really getting anywhere. So I was like, okay, I found out that Red Llama was making them on at home and selling them on Etsy. And once I saw that, I reached out to him and said, hey, this is what I'm looking for. Would you be willing? And he was. So yeah, love the thing. It's working great. Yeah, every once in a while I'll go down there just to make sure that the cords and the actual unit itself are cool, and they are. It's working perfectly. And again, this is at max. So we're talking full 80%. So I've got it at 24 amps and 5,700 watts. So thankfully my voltage most of the time is higher than 240. It's like 242 to 245, depending on what else is running in the house. Like when the washing machine's running, it drops down to about 239. So anyway, but I knew I was close. I didn't realize I was that close. So thankfully, I got that just in time before I put another GPU down there. Although that probably, well, I don't know if it would have, but it should have tripped the breaker. But anyway, so again, thank you to Red Llama Crypto for that. I very much appreciate it. Who did? Okay, I'll take a look at that. I'm still, yeah, been watching the hash rate and difficulty adjust every hour. Yeah, I know. It's certainly Raven is not as profitable as it was. There's a lot of things that aren't as profitable as they were, as the hash rate on everything seems to be increasing. Flux, aka the Nvidia coin. I don't know if I go that far. I would feel a lot stronger about that announcement if it actually was like a joint announcement with Nvidia. They just were announcing there was no proof, I guess. Like if you went to their website, you went to the Nvidia website and they said, here's our premier partners, Flux is not there. So if I saw Flux there in all the scrolling icons across that said, these are our premier partners, I would feel a lot stronger and feel like, wow, that's really something, if that was the case. Now it's still very fresh, and Nvidia probably just hasn't updated the website, so can't really say for sure, but I don't know. It'll be interesting. If we see some joint events, some joint marketing with Nvidia, that's what I'm going to be looking for as kind of proof that this is happening. Again, I'm not saying that Flux is lying. I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is that it's one thing to be in the program. It's another thing to actually have them, do all the things to the extent that you think is going to happen with the project because of Nvidia. So we'll have to wait and see. They're going to be joint things at conferences and such. So we'll see. No wonder Max was not seeing my indirect toxic messages. Yeah, I was not. No, you're going to make me go back and relook at everything? No, yeah, I saw the less on Flux, please. All right, now I'm trying to really scan through. I guess, was it Quoth the Raven or Queen of the Raven that had a question? Hopefully he added me in the chat. I'm scrolling down, getting to... She said something, Quoth the Raven. Quick question. The load average on your rig, does that include all your RGB fans? I'm assuming it does, not sure. So the load average, if you're talking about Hive, the load average is really all about the CPU. It has nothing to do with the GPU. So it's only talking about the CPU. Is that what you're talking about? You're talking about Hive and when you see LA for load average. So load average is if you have, it's basically saying, so like if you've got a 32 core processor, or you have, let's make it simple. If you have an 8 core processor, if your load average is 8 or less, it's fine. If you're only mining and it's at like 7, well, then there's probably some sort of issue to go up that high. But if you are mining Raptorium on your CPU or something else, Avian or Monero or whatever, then yeah, I would expect that your load average is going to equal or be very close to the number of cores in your system. So I'm mining in Hive on a 5950X, and it's slightly above 32. So, because I'm mining on all cores, even when mining. So hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if that was not what you were looking for, if you're talking about some other type of load average, or if you're talking about my voltmeter or power meter that I have downstairs. Let's see. Holy voltage, max voltage. Thanks, John C. Alrighty. Nvidia can't announce the partnership since gamers will go on suicide watch. Yeah, that's true. But then why have them come into the program in the first place? That's kind of odd. Okay, so is that what you were looking for, quote the Raven? Hopefully that was. If you were talking more about the power meter, as far as what my average is down there, that's going to include everything. That's power at the wall. So basically the way I have it set up with the power meter downstairs is the power meter has like an extension cord connected to it. So that is plugged into the wall. And then I have my PDU plugged into the power meter. So that's basically how it's set up. So everything connected through my PDU is going through the power meter. So I do have some other power downstairs. So I've got the fan controller. I've got all the fans on 120. So they're not running off of the PDU at all. So I'm running that on a completely different circuit. So I've got basically 5 fans running on a different circuit down there. So let's see. I think that gets me all caught up. Any other questions out there? Because, man, I don't know if I want to go too much longer, because I don't know how much longer this is going to last. I can't believe that it's actually still working. So, Pearl Rival, why do interest rates matter for me? And Red Panda Mining relative to the Federal Reserve, what are interest rates? So why do interest rates matter? Okay. So I was actually thinking about this over the weekend, because somebody was saying, well, with interest rates going up, well, think about the value of the dollar. So I think back to the 70s when inflation was really, really high and interest rates were low. So what did they have to do to bring inflation back under control? They had to raise interest rates. So the idea is that if they're raising interest rates, they're going to bring inflation under control. Well, Bitcoin and crypto and gold are all inflation hedges. So if the Fed said, economy's still not doing well because of the pandemic, we're just going to leave things alone and let inflation settle out wherever it was going to be. That's definitely something they could have said. They didn't. They instead said, nope, we're going to take away the easing, the monetary easing that we've been doing, and we're going to slowly raise interest rates. So by doing so, they're going to make the dollar, well, they'll make inflation not as high, and therefore the dollar will be worth more against every other currency or asset. So therefore, you're going to see it affect cryptocurrencies and other currencies, for that matter, negatively. Again, because it's a stronger dollar basically at that point. So yeah, if you have anything other than dollars at that point, a stronger dollar means that other thing is worth less. So that is why. Hopefully that answers your question on that. Jacob, when is the halving? Since I can't really use my computer to look anything up right now. What is your review of your keyboard and mouse? This is not mouse or keyboard related. This is obviously something going on with my computer. and I'm not really sure what happened, if I hit some weird key combination or what, because like I said, the chat has stopped scrolling. I can't scroll down on the chat. I can't click on any windows to bring them to the front. Yeah, so I'm in a weird state right now that I'm at least able to continue streaming, but that's about it. As soon as I'm done with this, I probably will not be able to close the stream. I'm going to have to restart my computer in order to close the stream is what I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to do, but we'll see. We'll go as long as we can and keep answering questions. All right. But I do like my keyboard and mouse. Probably not as much as I like my wife's EVGA keyboard, but the Mamba mouse that I have, the Razer Mamba, I like the mouse. I have a big hand. It's a big mouse. I like it. And then I have a Razer Black Widow, one of the Black Widow type keyboards. So I definitely like that. Okay, answered that question. What is your review? Oh yeah, I just did that. Might as well. Yeah, I did that one. Can you go deeper for the dumbfounded when they say raise interest rates? What does that actually entail? So when they say raise interest rates, that is all they can do is raise interest rates bank to bank. That's what basically when they go to settle out with the Fed every night, when all banks settle out with the Fed, there's a certain amount of ins and outs that occur. Well, if you're short, you're going to have to borrow money from other banks, things like that. That short term is the main thing that banks have the ability to control, or sorry, where the Fed has the ability to control. And so what that means is that the amount of money that's available to businesses to lend is less, because they will have to lend out that money at a higher interest rate to businesses. Well, that will slow growth. And in slowing growth, the idea is that that slows inflation, as well as then bringing the economy more under control with a slower growth. So in this particular case, why is there inflation? The reason why we have inflation is because of logistics problems. This isn't a typical, in my opinion, this is not a typical reason why we would see inflation. This is not out of control growth that's causing this. That's what happened in the 70s. There were some other problems that occurred with gas, energy prices, and things like that that contributed to it. But this is a new reason why it's happening. And I don't know if really raising interest rates, even though theoretically it's supposed to fix it from a, macro perspective, I'm not so sure that this is going to have the effect that they want. But I'm not an economist, don't claim to be an economist, but I do find studying economy interesting, and I will be curious to see how this pans out. If them raising interest rates, were they going to find out that it doesn't really help and they're just going to keep going? They're going to get to 6%. I mean, right now it's at 0. I don't really see them going past 3, but if 3 doesn't do it, are they just going to head right past 6 and basically put us back into a recession? I don't know. They're smart people doing this, so hopefully they know what they're doing. So we'll see. We shall see. Let's see. Did I miss anything else? Welcome to YouTube monetization. Yes, thank you very much. Really appreciate that. 11 hours, 54 minutes, and 40 seconds. I am definitely not streaming until then. That is for sure. That would be Yankee. I'm banned from my own stream. Yeah, pretty much. Never thought I would get to the point where I'm kind of in limbo land, where I have to read the chat on my phone because my computer's locked up, but yet I'm still able to stream. Very strange. Let's see here. Anything else? What are the thoughts on the Federal Reserve and its creation? I think it's a necessary evil, I guess is the way I would look at it. Somebody has to be in control to kind of, it's kind of like they've got the reins to the economy. That doesn't mean you can control an out of control horse, but you have some control. And so you got to have somebody with reins that can at least make sure that things are getting steered the right direction. And honestly, a lot of the time, it just takes them opening their mouth saying, this is what we're going to do. As soon as everybody hears that, they immediately assume, based upon what was said, where the economy is going at that point, and immediately gets priced into the market, or very quickly gets priced into the market. I don't know if we're completely priced this in yet, but it's definitely partially priced in with the higher interest rates. So we shall see. So you can agree with who is making decisions or not at the Fed, obviously, but I think having a Fed is a good thing. That's my opinion. Quoth the Raven has every GPU on Raven. Wow, I bet it's warm at your place. That's for sure. Like I said, I just do not have enough power to put every GPU on Raven. I have 2 downstairs in my rigs on Raven right now, and that's pretty much all I can afford. I had another 3060 on Raven, and that put me over the edge. It didn't trip the breaker or anything, but it was uncomfortably over the 80%. So definitely needed to bring it down about 30 to 40 watts. Alrighty, guys. So I'm not going to try to push my luck here, and I'm going to call it a stream. But again, actually one last thing, as long as I'm still on this. So hopefully I have to figure out where I'm going to get some things, but definitely want to get an intro done the beginning part of this year. I definitely want to you just get a few things to kind of tidy up things and make things a little bit more professional. One of the other things, and this was actually new, I'm working on having another interview with Tim Bako. He agreed, not to a specific time, but agreed to an interview. Asked him to do it around the time that the specification for the merge was complete. Because if you remember, he said he believed the specification would be done by the end of February. And so I said, I'd like to have an interview around the time. And he said, I think the beginning to middle of February would be good. Maybe I'm reading into it, but that tells me they may be ahead of schedule. I know it's Ethereum, not possible, but that's the way I read that. And I guess we'll find out when I do have the interview with him. So working out the logistical details on that, and we'll get back to you with more on that. But it'll be in about a month is when it will be that I'll be having that. And that's about all I have. Let me just double check the chat. One more thing. What do you think? More controlling crypto, the Fed or Elon Musk? Well, that is a very good observation. Yes, we have celebrities that affect the price of certain cryptos. Yes, we do. And that's probably going to continue. What I do find interesting is I don't really hear much from them recently, and they don't seem to be having as big of an effect, because unless they want it to go down so they can buy more, that's definitely possible. But yeah, I don't know. I would say from a long-term perspective, the Fed probably has a greater effect, but from a short-term perspective and pump perspective, obviously the celebrities, whether it be Elon Musk or owner of the Mavericks, Mark Cuban, I was drawing a blank on his name for a second, Mark Cuban, or guy who used to be the CEO for Twitter, that I'm drawing definitely a blank on his name. But anyway, all of those guys definitely can pump coins, no question. So yeah. Only because people follow them. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. If they say something, people are like, oh, he said something, it's gonna go. So they buy. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because they've seen it happen before. So anyway, alrighty guys, I'm going to call it a night. Definitely appreciate you all being here. I was surprised I got to, well, I'm at 50 viewers right now. So definitely appreciate everybody showing up. And again, thank you for all you guys have done for the channel. Hopefully we'll continue to give you guys better and better content. Definitely now have a light, have a better camera, and we'll be moving into another room, so you won't hear so much echo. So we're making some plans, and don't know exactly when that's going to happen. Wife's going to be helping out with that. She's still doing some recovery, but probably in February would be my guess is when I'll be moving into a smaller studio type room. Again, still working out the details as to how that's going to be set up. But still working out the details of whether or not there will be a GPU wall. Don't know if I can convince her to do that, but we'll see. Anyway, all right, I should see. Is she still listening? Anyway, alrighty guys, thanks again. I'm going to try to stop the stream, but I have a feeling I'm going to have to probably kill the computer. But so if it takes a while for me to stop, you'll know why. I'll probably just turn off the camera at least. Yep, I'm going to have to turn off the computer. Alrighty guys, have a good one. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Wow. I can't even turn off the mic or do a Control-Alt-Delete. I know I'm still on. I'm glad you find it entertaining. Oh, my chat actually started up again. That is hilarious. Yes, smashing the keyboard does not work. Alrighty, have a good night. I'm going to mute the mic because I can do that from here.